Well, Defiance looked as if the cards were stacked against them earlier this week at Upper Sandusky. The Rams had the home court advantage. They had a 2-possession lead late in the fourth quarter, and their star, Holden Doris, was set to continue his third quarter offense to the finish. And then the Bulldogs tightened the screws defensively. They hit 11 of 13 from the line to salt the game away. And when it was all said and done, a huge come from behind 49-41 sectional win allowed them to advance to tonight to take on top-seeded Elida. Welcome aboard, everybody. Brent Balbinot saying thank you for joining us as you are looking down live at the Union Bank Court. It is a beautiful field house and athletic complex here in Elida as the Bulldogs will take on the Bulldogs. Elida 15-7 overall, 6-3 in the WBL. That was good for a third-place finish. Defiance finishing at 7-15, now make it 8-15 after their big win on the road in the opening round of the playoffs at Upper Sandusky. They finished the regular season in the conference at 3-6. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is now underway. Both teams had a chance to do a little bit of early warm-ups. We're still about 25 minutes away before we tip this one off. Of course, the winner advances next week. It would be a Wednesday contest. We'll break that down later. We don't want to put the cart before the horse, but should Defiance continue to win, they would be playing at Liberty Benton against one of 4 different opponents. We'll give you the brackets and what the possibilities are later on in the broadcast. What we can tell you is Defiance has saved its best basketball for the tail end of the season. They have been almost so many times. Coach Bryn Lehman saying the phrase, "what if," is one of the worst, not just in sports, but in life. But the beauty of high school basketball is that it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And once you open up in sectionals, everybody is 0-0. And right now in the postseason, Defiance is 1-0. As I mentioned, I had a chance to stop out at a Defiance practice yesterday. Sat down and talked with head coach Bryn Lehman. Our player profile is going to be Brogan Castillo. Again, the 6-foot center. He only had 1 point in that road win at Upper Sandusky, but his defense was absolutely spectacular. We'll talk to him about what that win meant and what he wants to do to continue his playing career in a Bulldog basketball jersey. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, it will be Coach Lehman to open us up. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports. Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. They earned the right to get on the bus for at least another game. Defiance looked as if the cards were stacked against them. In effect, they really were. Upper Sandusky had the home court advantage. They had a 2-possession lead late in the fourth quarter, but then the defense locked in, and they hit their free throws. And the next thing you know, they're walking out of the barn with a 49-41 win. It has earned them the right to play the number 1 seed in this bracket, Elida, here this evening. Coach, he's rewinding. I'm looking at his brow furrowing here. You don't need to replay that one, Coach. You won it already. Time to look ahead. First things first, though, let me ask you this. Did the bus's tires even touch the pavement on the drive home? What was that ride like?
It's not really much enjoyment. You can cherish it for about 5 minutes, and then it's on to the next one. So, we're worried about the one tonight. And the Elida Bulldogs are a very good opponent, and there's somebody that knocked us off earlier this season at our place. So we know them very well. They know us well. It's going to be a good one.
Let's review before we preview. That game played out much like both coaches thought it would. Slower tempo, it was disciplined, it was deliberate. Doesn't mean that it was slow, it was just not a track meet. Yet at the same time, very defensively oriented, but the defense in that fourth quarter. And then 11 out of 13 from the charity stripe across the board, 4 different guys. What did this team learn about itself?
I think we learned we could do it because we've been in a lot of games that were very reminiscent of that one, and they went the other direction. And that's why I'm so proud of our guys. I think a few of them grew up a little bit, finishing a game that we were down late. I think it wasn't until about 2.5, 3 minutes left that we took the lead. So it was good for our guys to see that we could pull one out in that situation.
The moment didn't seem too big. I mean, the free throw line is obviously one of those situations where you're looking around and all eyes are on you. But any given situation, I saw unselfish play. I saw the extra pass. I saw big man to big man, low post to low post, Rodenberger and Ligon getting in on the act. In the moment, I guess, for lack of a better term, they raised their level of play. Have you seen that yet this season?
No, absolutely not. And you know, there's been spurts where we've looked good, but you're right. Garrett and Khalil have been playing very well off of each other, and when you have a guy like Jordan Wright that can come in and change the tempo for us just a little bit, because we're not a team that's going to run up and down, but he is, you know, he's a quick twitch guy that can get into the paint very easily, and when that opens things up for our shooters on the outside, and then like I said, Garrett and Khalil inside, that adds another dimension to our offense. So that was great to see.
We sung Khalil's praises. As a matter of fact, had him up in the post game and 13 points to lead the way. You knew he had it in him. But let's talk about the other big, because Garrett Rodenberger has quietly just been, I don't want to say an anonymous voice in the chorus, but he does what you need. And to the tune where he's now become a starter over the past few weeks, it wasn't just the 7 points he put up, but it was his defense against Darris, their leading scorer. He averages 16.5. I know he'll give credit to his teammates. You'll say it's a team effort. But to have technically your center on a point forward, so to speak, can you just talk about the job he did?
He's just very versatile, and he's a guy that he accepts his role, and he accepts whatever assignment he's going to be given, and we know the effort's going to be there every night. So he's a guy we can really rely on, trusting that he's going to be consistent, and he can, you know, guard 1 through 5. He can switch on to 1 through 5. Just because of what he offers us defensively, there's always going to be a spot for him.
Let's go ahead and break down the number 1 seed, Elida. Not strangers with them. Obviously, woulda, coulda, shoulda earlier this year in the WBL. But here's your opportunity. You've got it tonight. It's what you've earned here tonight. Break them down for us.
They're just very athletic. They're a team that's going to push the tempo. You know, their sideline break is very effective, and that got to us a few times the first time we played them. And their defensive pressure, they're not afraid to extend 100. They'll run a little bit of 1-2-2, but they're most comfortable in 100 and running and jumping. And they want the score to be in the 70s or 80s. You know, we're kind of in the opposite. So and they're comfortable playing both. They are a lot better in the half court than they've been the last few years, and that's what makes them 15-7. But they're a very tough opponent, and they're somebody that's going to pose some matchup issues.
Good athletes across the board. Backcourt, maybe a little bit more of their strength. Island in particular, the point guard. I don't want to say as he goes, so go the rest of the Bulldogs, but he certainly is the straw that stirs the drink.
Sure, and you know, they don't start a single guy over 6 foot, so they're small but incredibly athletic, and I don't think it affects their rebounding any at all because of how athletic they are. The Kovac kid, you know, he was their 6th man earlier in the year. He had 4 offensive rebounds the first time we played him. So they are very, very aggressive, very active on the boards, and you know, they have incredible hands defensively. So we're going to have to take care of the ball.
Who draws Island, at least to start the game?
Tone's going to start on Zori, and he can go both ways, but he's very quick and he's left-handed. So we're going to get to the left side of the floor and try to you know, stop and get the tempo to be a little bit more our speed.
You switching on screens then?
We're going to hard hedge ball screens when it's a big. Guards will switch a little bit, but we've got to stop him in his tracks.
What do they run defensively? I know you said primarily man, but they will mix in a little 1-2-2. Is that primarily it? Will they extend the press at all, or is what you see what you get?
What you know, they're going to play 100-man, and they're going to run and jump in the full court, and you know, a lot of switching, a lot of gambling, just very aggressive. They're going to deny the sidelines, they're going to deny the wings, just really, you know, ramping up the pressure. And when, you know, they're like sharks, and when they smell blood, they're going to get up further and further and pressure more and more and more. So it's going to be a big night for our seniors and for our point guards to take charge and keep our composure.
It's not uncommon through sectionals, even the early rounds of districts, for lack of a better term, the postseason to kind of be a glorified conference tournament. You're familiar with these teams, obviously. Many of them you've seen in the regular season. You gave a really interesting speech at the end of practice here. It was almost, I was thinking the underlying theme was, why not us? They were the underdog last time. They're going to be the underdog this time. But as you talked about, nobody opened up the door and gave this to you. They earned it. Just talk about the psychology, where this team is mentally about this matchup.
I think we're slowly gaining confidence, and that's something that escapes you when you've got 5 really tough games to end your season that you don't have any success with. But we did do some things well, and it was good for our guys to go against an opponent and have success as far as wins go. So we've just got to believe that we belong, and we've got to believe that we can do it, because quite a few of the teams that are left in our district, we were right there with. And there's 6 WBL teams of the 8 in the district. So we're familiar with everybody. We've played everybody tough at some point for bits and stretches. So if our guys believe we can do it and they understand that they've earned this opportunity, anything can happen.
Keep the Pistons firing on that upset special. Best of luck to you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You gave me a little bit of a cagey smile there. We'll see what they got in store for us. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. Tip-off still a few minutes away. They've got to take it on the road again, and they don't care. They earned the right to wear the uniform one more time, coming from behind in the fourth quarter as Defiance's boys knocked off Upper Sandusky in the opening round of the playoffs. Now tonight, it's the number 1 seed, Elida, a team that they are not unfamiliar with. As a matter of fact, woulda, coulda, shoulda in the regular season, but now it makes a little bit of difference, because in a one-game season, the winner advances, the loser packs up their gear until next year. Our player profile, he was so popular in the opening round of the playoffs that we're going to give him the microphone again, partially because you're the last varsity guy that also. It's what happens when you drag your heels after practice, right? Everybody takes off, so you're so good that you get the microphone again. First things first, though, congratulations. How does it feel? Has that feeling worn off, or are you using that as motivation?
I'm using that as motivation to keep going, because we had a lot of fun this week in that game, so hopefully we can keep it going.
I'm standing here. We're doing this on the heels of what was a pretty intense practice the night before you face off with Elida here. It's one thing to win, and then so often you see teams kind of exhale, maybe the downshift, lose their focus a little bit. Doesn't seem like that's the case with you guys. You're still staying pretty strong focused, are you not?
Yeah, we are. I'd rather stay ready, because we can't go light and then expect to go full go the next day. You got to keep it running.
It's the old phrase, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so walk us through the preview here. What's the scout on Elida? Good athletes, maybe 1 or 2 really true basketball players, but a very good team. Break them down for us.
Point guard, they got Wash and Island, which are both very good players. So we gotta stop them first off, because they can make shots whenever they want, and they can get their teammate shots.
They want a track meet. They want a game in the high 70s and the 80s. That hasn't been your style. So you got what you wanted against a team that kind of mirrored you against Upper Sandusky. What's the key to slowing down the tempo in this one?
Hopefully our zone, we can slow them down. We're not looking to steal it with our press. We're not looking to steal the ball. We're looking to slow them down so they can't get run-up layups.
So does that include a little bit of mixing up as far as the defenses, some man, some zone? Will you show any press? You haven't really this year.
We'll be in man and zone both, because we just got to make them think. And our press, we're doing a zone press. So just keep them down the court, try to get a 10-second call.
You're going to draw Kovold, who is, again, a great overall athlete. What's the challenge there?
He's fast. So I got to make sure I stay in front of him. He can't be jumping, because he's not the greatest shooter, but he can pull. So I just can't let him go strong hand.
How much do you put in as far as prep goes? We talk about obviously showing up, and once the whistle sounds, you're going head-to-head against guys. But how much time do you guys, and maybe you in particular, spend in the film room as far as prep is concerned?
Usually we watch film 2 times a week during the normal season, but during postseason we watch it every day. And we got scouting reports saying everything they do, all the things they did all year. So I know what he does.
And you're ready. Is he like his left? Does he like his right? You talked about maybe kind of a short or a pull-up kind of game. What else are his strengths?
He's strong right. Kovold will go right every time he can. Get on the little pump fake. So I just got to stay on my feet and force him left.
You've got some size, both height and size on him. Can you use that to your advantage?
Yeah, I'll just try to stick up and hopefully body him. Don't let him get in there.
What's the mindset of this team right now? You didn't suit up just to win one game in the postseason. You still want to keep this thing going, correct?
Yeah, we want to keep it going. I think our team, we're probably the best feeling we've felt all year. Like, we're ready. We're playing together pretty good at practice, too, so I think we're excited.
Practice tonight was very intense, but it was matched up. I mean, even the reserves were going at the starters pretty strong. Is that a sign, like you said, you expect to be better at this point in time of the year than you are back in December, but it's not just one or two guys. It seems like it's across the board.
Yeah, I don't think we have any let off when we put in subs anymore. I think we're all ready to play and win.
Nothing left to do but tip this one off, right?
Yep.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Brogan Castillo, our player profile for the second game in a row. Heck, you keep winning, maybe you'll just be the player profile every single game as far as the postseason runs. How's that sound?
That sounds nice.
He agrees with it, so we'll go ahead and hold him to that. Or we won't. We'll wait and see. You got to get Rodenberger up here. Tell him to hang around after the next practice. How's that sound? And we'll get him. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues right after this. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching DCTV Sports. We welcome you back to the Union Bank Court Gymnasium / Fieldhouse. It is the home of Elida basketball. And there you get a good look at who the visitors are. As tonight we've got Defiance at Elida, Bulldogs on Bulldogs. And there we go, Mr. Rodenberger, all thumbs up. And hopefully his son Garrett will bring an equal, if not better, performance that we saw last Tuesday at Upper Sandusky. Again, Garrett Rodenberger played tremendous defense, finished with 7 points on the evening. It all helped to pull off the, if you want to call it, mild upset in the opening round of districts. But now Defiance draws the prize. Top-seeded Elida. The winner advances to sectionals next week. That would be at Liberty Benton. Time now for a look at your Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. Again, your starting lineups courtesy of Baker Schindler Company. And let's go ahead and start with the host Bulldogs of Elida. And they are a talented group. At the point, it will be 5'9" junior Zori Island. He averages nearly 12 points, 4 assists, and almost 3 steals per ball game. And as he goes, usually goes the Bulldogs. At the off guard, number 1, it'll be senior Seth Sharp. He averages 5 points per ball game. Amari Walsh, a 5'9" sophomore, is your small forward, the most improved player on the roster, according to Coach Matthew Tabler. He's averaging 12 points, 3 assists, and nearly 2 steals per ball game. At the power forward, it will be Jackson Kovalt. He was a standout football player, 5'10" senior. He averages 7 points, 3 rebounds per ball game. Brogan Castillo, our player profile tonight, will draw him defensively. And in the middle, 5'11", not the tallest, but certainly a thick, strong man. Again, another standout football player, I should say, David Etzkorn. Etzkorn averages 11 points and nearly 4 boards per contest. Etzkorn already has 3 football offers, all within the Mid-American Conference. On the flip side, for head coach Bryn Lehman and the Defiance Bulldogs as they enter tonight's contest at 8-15 overall, the usual suspects. At the point, it will be 5'10" senior Antonio Lopez. Lopez averaging an eyelash under 10 points per ball game, 2.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per contest. He is also the team's leading free throw shooter at 72%. At the off guard, it will be the junior Brez Ziffel. Ziffel standing in at 6'2". He averages 5.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists per ball game. At the swing, Khalil Ligon. He saved his best for last. Tuesday night, he led the Bulldogs with 13 points, and he was absolutely spectacular, not missing a free throw in the closing minutes. He hit 4 of 4. Again, Ligon averaging 10 points, 4.5 boards per contest. Then your front court, our player profile, Brogan Castillo. Castillo at 6 foot, 185 pounds, averages 9 points, 5.5 rebounds per contest. And in the middle, Garrett Rodenberger. Rodenberger, the 6'3", 215-pound senior. Rodenberger added to the starting lineup just a couple of weeks ago. He's averaging 3 points, 4 boards per contest. He's shooting 64%. Those are your Baker Shinley Company starting lineups. We're still about 4 minutes away from tipping this one off. It is a sectional championship. The winner earns themselves a spot in the district semifinals. Next week, the loser will pack up their gear until next season. We'll take a quick timeout. Back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. Court. It is the Elida Fieldhouse as the final seconds ticking off the clock. Likewise for the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Brent Balbinot saying thanks for joining us tonight on DCTV Sports, as this is going to be a sectional final. The champion advances to next week's districts at Liberty Center. It is the Bulldogs of Elida, 15-7 overall. They finished third in the WBL at 6-3 versus the Bulldogs of Defiance, 7-15 overall, 3-6 in conference play. But it is a one-game season right now. And for right now, it is Defiance at 1-0. And Elida got a bye as the top seed, as Defiance is the 9th seed. Both teams lining up. It's time for the playing of our national anthem. It's courtesy of the Defiance Elks, Lodge 147. And the national anthem in the books, courtesy again of the Defiance Elks, Lodge 147. We gave you the Baker Schindler Company starting lineups a couple of minutes ago. There you get a good look around. This is a fantastic field house. It's been around forever. It's been recently remodeled and repainted, and it is more than serviceable. There you take a look at Defiance in their traveling black uniforms tonight with the blue lettering and numerals with the white trim, getting last-minute instructions from Coach Bryn Lehman. There you see the intensity of a pair of seniors, Antonio Lopez. Rogan Castillo looks like he's ready to eat a bag of nails right now. He's ready to go. Number 5 there, Garrett Rodenberger, peeking in and out behind some of their teammates as well. That's a trio of seniors that do not want their season to end. On the flip side, Elida hoping to use the home court advantage to advance to the next round. Good crowd, a little bit of a late arriving crowd here this evening. Our officiating crew, you see them right there on the far side, right at half court. And this is a very experienced group. Macaulay Williams is standing to the far right. In the center is Brett Green. And to the left, the elder statesman, Matt Mosier. The non-starters being introduced for Defiance. They go about 8 deep, not much more than that, unless you've got some specialists. But it's been more than effective as the Bulldogs playing their best ball of the season when it matters at the end. These two teams met once earlier this season, and Elida got the better of Defiance. If you had a chance to listen to Coach Bryn Lehman's pregame interview, they were right there, and then just a bad stretch in the fourth quarter. All it took was about 2 or 3 different possessions, and the next thing you know, you're looking up at a loss. Non-starters being introduced right now for Elida. Head coach Matthew Tabler, long-time fixture in the area. And now Defiance's starters about to be introduced. A decent crowd traveling for Defiance. But if you weren't able to make it, we appreciate you joining us here tonight on DCTV Sports. We are getting set for the F&M Bank opening tip-off. A spot in the district semifinals next week, laying in wait for tonight's winner. It will be at Liberty Benton. We'll wait and see who it could possibly be, but right now you can't win 3 until you win 2. Castillo had a chance to sit down and talk with Matthew Tabler, the Elida head coach, for probably about 10 minutes before this place really opened up. He referred to Brogan Castillo as the Bull. Incredibly physical, plays much bigger than his better part of 6'1" frame. Very physical. And so is the young man right there being introduced for Elida. David Etzgorn fills out his uniform. Cue up the Black Eyed Peas. Nothing left to do but tip this one off and see who's better at the end of 32 minutes. Elida already out. Defiance taking every last second of instruction from their coaching staff. It will be Zippel in the center circle for Defiance. It will be Sharp for Elida. Brett Green about to put the ball in the air. Zippel wins the tip. It goes through Ligon's fingertips, and he runs into Brett Green, and immediately on the fast break, boy, my goodness, that is the speed, ladies and gentlemen, of Zori Island. Not only did he beat everybody down the fort, but then he also got his own rebound. Coming off a screen, cut off. They're going to have to play help side defense tonight. Walsh on the drive. Short jumper no good, and this time Zippel secures it for Defiance. Lopez across half court. Ligon looking into the high blocks to Rodenberger. Ball is tapped away. Oh my goodness, diving for it. That is a dangerous play. Island can't believe it, and he slides down the back of Antonio Lopez. Now, I don't think there was any showmanship there, but you also have to kind of be aware of where you are. And Lopez, good-natured, just smiles. And that'll be the first foul of the ball game for either team. Lopez across the timeline. Walsh picks him up. Rodenberger posting up, and they miss him. Lopez on the pump fake into the middle of the paint. Running one-hander, no good. Rodenberger with a strong board kicks it out. Ligon with a nice pump fake from the elbow. Halfway down, it spit out. Boy, they got two good looks. And again, here comes Island. And swatted out of bounds by Ligon. Good transition D by the Bulldogs. Inbounding on the baseline. 1 foot in, 1 foot outside the arc. Koval finally releases. They go into the high block. Sharp on the drive, and we've got a whistle. Foul's going to be charged to Ligon, his first. Sharp will head to the charity stripe. Seth Sharp, a 74% free throw shooter on the season, drains his first. Boy, really toes the line. He is right on it. Quick stroke. He's 2 for 2. And Elida draws first blood. And look at this, coming out in some full court pressure. Picking up man-to-man. Lopez blows right by Walsh. Ligon into the paint. Nice job by Castillo on the pick and roll. Goes up strong, missed it. Rodenberger didn't want to go back up. They'll kick it back out, and Island with those quick hands with the strip. He's going one-on-one against Castillo, and Castillo will make him earn it from the stripe. Pick your poison, but you're seeing why number 0 is a future college basketball player. Understanding is he's getting several looks from Division II colleges. Lightning quick. It's a 70% free throw shooter as the lefty releases. Not a lot of rotation on his release, but he drains the first. Gonna have our first substitution for either team as Jay Wright checks in for Brogan Castillo. Second is on the way. Got them both. So Elida 4 for 4 from the charity stripe, and that accounts for all the offense so far in the early going. Lopez working against Walsh. Really dogging him. Wright, lightning quick in his own right. They're going to double team on the ball. Boy, they're really gambling on the hedge. Ligon being pushed off the low blocks, ball being swatted at, and Koval picks up a cheap foul. Wright will inbound on the baseline. They're going to flash Zipfel underneath, and Wright completely missed him, and the ball deflected out of bounds. It will remain Bulldogs. And Zipfel's letting Jay Wright know he was there. Zipfel spots up for three. It's just short. Dagger tapped out. Lopez has it. Defiance in no rush. They'll reset their offense. Lopez picks up his dribble. That ball was deflected, so it's not an over and back. Good ball reversal. Wright. Island right in his grill. Ligon, beautiful feed down low to Rodenberger, who lays it up and in. And Defiance at the 5:34 mark, now on the board. On the drive, Walsh running one-hander, nothing doing. Scrum in the middle of the paint and out of bounds off Defiance. Buzzer sounds, we'll have a substitution for Elida. Parker Krim will check in. A thick young man. Again, football scholarship after football scholarship in his offering. I know Miami has offered. I know Bowling Green has offered. Several other schools looking at him. As Island on the drive switches from the right to the left hand, but it's a little hard. Zipfel clears out. Right, bounce pass to Ligon. Zipfel thought about a three. Instead, he'll put it on the floor. Drives in a little hard. Etzgorn, 1-on-4. He's going full tilt no matter what, and he picks up the foul. This will go against Lopez. It'll be his first. Clock stopped at the 4:55 mark. Free throws coming here for Etzgorn. Good free throw shooter at 71%. Good rotation. Buries his first. Well, the charity stripe has been very charitable in the early going for Elida. As Island will check out, and he's got a towel up on his eye. Brez Zipfel, when he was clearing out on that last rebound, looked like he maybe caught him. And he's a little gingerly around his eye as Etzgorn releases his second. And Elida a perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line to account for their offense so far. Right into the front court, keeping his dribble. Ligon with a nice pump fake, drives baseline, tries to muscle up against a triple team. It's swatted away. Man, they are letting them play. And now we have a foul called, and I think it's on Rodenberger. Nope, they're going to call it on Zipfel. That'll be his first. Wright will pick up. Walsh will run the point in the absence of Island on the bench. And great anticipation. Zipfel couldn't save it. Almost. Another substitution. This is going to be Eben Jackson. Checking in for Elida. But Walsh just really going to take his time here, setting up the offense. We're not quite halfway through the first quarter. Jackson doesn't score a ton, in primarily for boards and defense. Krim, he got away with dragging his pivot foot. Walsh tried to go fancy between his legs, but Wright staying right with him. He's lucky he didn't turn it over. Right now, good man-to-man defense by Defiance. And this one's thrown away. And that wasn't even forced. They just got in their head a little bit. There you take a look at the student section. You saw it there in the far corner. Small but mighty for Defiance tonight. Castillo back in the ball game. He took a hip check from Jackson. That's going to be a blocking foul. His first team foul, number 2. Wholesale substitutions for Elida. Island back in. Sharp back in. Koval back in. Right looking. Rodenberger quickly to kick it back out to Lopez, who's back in the ballgame, as is TJ Kellermeyer for Defiance. Castillo spins, fires. That's how you create an opportunity from the charity stripe. Evan Jackson has picked up 2 quick fouls as Brogan Castillo will head to the charity stripe. Brogan, a 61% free throw shooter on the season. Taking his time here. A little short on the first. Ligon will check in. And Kellermeyer will check out for Defiance. Castillo trying to hit 1 of 2. He does. Cuts the deficit in half, and what are we going to have here? A little half-court trap. Trying to pick up at half court, but get the ball reversed. Grimm double teamed. Uses that big body to push off. Coach Tabler sending in the instructions to Island. And it looks like Defiance now out in the zone, and that maybe shook him just a little bit. Pass wasn't there, and that is going to be the second turnover in as many possessions for Elida. Ligon inbounds. Boy, walking the tightrope. Lopez, nice job. Quickness on quickness here as Lopez into the front court. Castillo, they lay off of him. He's not a threat from beyond the arc. Lopez is. And Castillo says, I'm going to prove something to you. Not this time, though. Island hits a trailing Etzkorn. That is a deep 3, and it's the first basket from the field coming at the 2:48 mark for Elida. And it also happens to be a Premier Bank 3. And we're going to have an offensive foul at the other end. Rodenberger. Well, he flashed 5, yep. I'm double checking to make sure that is the case, and it is. Garrett Rodenberger picks up his first. So 9-3, coming up on 2.5 minutes left to go here first quarter. Island with a dangerous one-handed pass. Etzkorn, and that's a beautiful job to get back by Rodenberger. That's turnover number 3 for Elida. Ziffel will inbound. They're double teaming Lopez. He needs somebody to come help him. Ziffel will break it. Bullet pass underneath the Ligon. Pump fake. Gets himself centered and gets 2 off the square. Third different Bulldog to score. Cuts the deficit to 4. Quick hands by Ziffel. Island will inbound on the near corner. Etzkorn thought about a 3. Walsh will take one. Wide open off the heel of the iron. Ooh, boy, Rodenberger took a shot across the chin. And Sharp knew it. That's his first. That's team foul number 5. So they'll walk to the other end of the arena, and Rodenberger will shoot a pair. Rodenberger, a 64% free throw shooter. He's got 2 points tonight. He averages 3. Spins the ball in his hand. Well, he's looked really good from the foul line the last 2 to 3 weeks. trying to cut the deficit to just a pair here. Second is on the way. Good-looking rotation. It's 9-7. Rodenberger will catch a breather. Castillo will check in. So you've got the quickest backcourt that Defiance could have on the court right now in Lopez and Wright. And you got some size in the front court as that scored on the drive, and it's either Castillo from the front or Zippel from the back. It'll be Castillo. That's his second. And immediately TJ Kellermeyer is at the scorer's table set to check in for Defiance as that scoring will head to the charity stripe. He's 2 for 2 tonight. He's a 71% free throw shooter. Connects on his first. Castillo will have to have a seat with those 2 fouls. Etzkorn, when you say toe the line, that's exactly what he does. Second is on the way, and he rattles it home. Wright double teamed. Zippel breaks it. Oh, and the pass is just too far. Right idea, they had a 2-on-1, but the pass led Kellermeyer. Turnovers have been at a minimum here in the first quarter for Defiance. Long pass to the near corner. Koval on the drive. We've got a whistle. Offensive foul! Wow. Koval picks up his second. And immediately Krim checks in. Token pressure. Sharp will be on the inbounds, and now they'll back out of it. Wright sizing up Walsh as he brings him across half court. Lopez trying to get involved in the offensive rhythm here for Defiance. Ligon top of the key. They screen to get Zippel open. He will drive and dish. Kellermeyer, corner 3. Just off the front of the iron. Then Island is on the run. And we're going to have a foul. And a charge against Zori Island, his second. Wow. So 2 starters, Island and Koval, both with 2 fouls, and Evan Jackson off the bench also with 2 fouls. And here comes the seldom used Mason Dayhill for Elida. Score remains low at 11-7. Defiance trying to cut into that deficit now that we're under a minute left to go in the quarter. Kellermeyer from the elbow. Again, looked like he just didn't quite have his footing down. He smacks the ball on the floor. Just didn't quite look like that left to right rhythm was smooth. Checking to see who that foul is against for Defiance. As at the other end of the court, Sharp will shoot a pair. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Now make it 2 for 3. The foul is being charged to Zippel, his second. And he'll take a seat in favor of Garrett Rodenberger. Second is on the way from Sharp, and he makes good. 12-7, 5-point advantage. And again, manning up, but then backing out. Lopez working against Dayhill. Lopez on the drive, stops and pops. Off the base of the iron, Ligon in midair with the save. Kellermeyer leans in, a little strong, and I think Parker Krim might have affected that shot. Here comes Elida. Good transition D, though, by Defiance. Etzkorn down the middle of the paint, too strong off the glass. Krim just takes it away from Rodenberger and gets 2 on the putback. 14-7, and there's a turnover for Defiance. On the drive, Walsh puts it up and in. And now all 5 starters have scored for Elida as they've gone on a 6-0 run to make it 16-7. Wright on the drive. Short as the buzzer sounds to bring an end to the first quarter. Well, a late run in the final 90 seconds for Elida has more than doubled up the score here. Bulldogs 16, visiting Bulldogs 7. We'll take a quick First Insurance Group timeout. We're back with quarter number 2. You're watching DCTV Sports. First 8 minutes in the books. We welcome you back to the Union Bank Court at the Elida Fieldhouse. It is sectional championship night on a Friday night. 9th-seeded Defiance taking on top-seeded Elida in this bracket. And a late surge in the final 90 seconds for the hosts have given them a 16-7 lead. Let's take a look at your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. Let's start with points. Leading all players right now with 4. Garrett Rodenberger, 2 free throws and a basket in the early going. That for Defiance. A deuce for Khalil Ligon, 1 of 2 for Brogan Castillo from the stripe. More balance, though, for the Bulldogs of Elida as David Etzkorn, 4 for 4 from the stripe and a 3-pointer. He's got 7. 3 for Seth Sharp, a deuce apiece for Zori Island, Amari Walsh, and Parker Krim off the bench. Both teams with 3 turnovers in the first 8 minutes as Antonio Lopez stroking it down. A 3-pointer courtesy of Premier Bank. His first points of the evening. And Defiance needed that. Krim trying to back down Ligon. Throws up a bit of a circus shot. Follows though. Nothing doing. The tap by Sharp, no good. They're really banging away down low, and he's double teamed. He was flirting with 5. Etzkorn almost threw that one away. On the drive, check that that's not Kovalp. That is Dayhill still in. It's the top of the key, and a 3 for Walsh. As he counters Antonio Lopez's tray to open up the quarter. It's back up to a 9-point Elida lead. High blocks. Rodenberger leans in, gives Krim a shoulder. Halfway down, it kicks out. Kellemeyer almost had the board. Nothing doing, though. And Elida will slow it down a bit. Defiance's defense, especially the top half here, coming out in between the circles. And Walsh just kind of hanging around in the corner. A little bit of a 3-man weave. That's Etzkorn. Oh, beautiful 360 spin move and finishes with the teardrop. That was a big-time move. 11-point lead now for the hosts. Kellemeyer decides the better of a corner 3. He's got to look here. Drives and dishes. Lopez from distance off the heel of the iron. Kellemeyer with the board, leans in. Scoop move, nothing doing. The tip in by Rodenberger is good. Rodenberger now with 6, and we've got a full timeout being called by Defiance. 6:04 left to go in the first half. Defiance hanging within arm's reach. Elida, though, up by 9. We're back with more on DCTV Sports. There you get a good look at the host Elida Bulldogs huddle. All business. Coach Matthew Tabler dishing out instructions. And there on the flip side, likewise, all business-like in the Defiance huddle. Elida 21, Defiance 12. This is a a sectional championship. The winner advances to the district semifinals next week. These two teams no strangers to each other out of the WBL. They only met once this year. And it was woulda, coulda, shoulda for Defiance as Elida used a stretch of about 3 to 4 possessions in the fourth quarter to run away for a double-digit victory. Half-court trap, trying to come up the side. Bounce pass, boy, I don't know how Edscorn tracked that down. Krim is stripped as he goes up, and it will remain Elida basketball. Krim will inbound. Out in between the circles, Koval, he's got 2 fouls. Logan Hutchison in the ball game for Defiance, seeing his first action of the evening. Koval sizing up the defense, drives in, splits a double team, a little strong off the glass, and a good weak side seal and board by Hutchison. Castillo, a beautiful flash down low by Hutchison, but he's double teamed. He'll dribble it back out. Lopez rejects the screen on the drive, pump fake, wraparound pass. Rodenberger with those long arms gets the hook shot to fall. Garrett Rodenberger now with 8 points in the first half. Pump fake, Edscorn, that ball deadens. Rodenberger's everywhere on the court. Even as he's falling down, he tips it out to Lopez. Ligon, give and go. Lopez left it short, and that's because he was fouled. That will be on Walsh. Lopez, Defiance's best free throw shooter at 72%. Will head to the stripe. Chance to cut into the deficit with the clock stopped. First is halfway down and spits out. Just kind of shaking his head. I know he's a little disappointed, but you got to lock back in. Get ready for the next one. Krim will check out. Lopez's second is up and good. (21-15). And that ball is tipped. It remains with Elida. Cleaner second quarter than we saw in the first, where both teams had 3 turnovers unofficially. Walsh, Island with the pump fake, got Ligon in midair. They're going to kick it to the corner, though, and that's air-mailed. Rodenberger with another board. Lopez wants to run. 5 white jerseys get back in transition. Ligon sizing up sharp. He's going to take him baseline. Almost stepped out of bounds. Lopez wide open for 3. He rushed that shot a bit. Ligon, though, crashes the glass. Another offensive board. Oh, what a move. And they're going to call him for a charge. Oh, my goodness. Wave off the basket. Ligon will have to come out. Hutchison will join him. Zippel back in. He's got 2 fouls. Jay Wright also on the floor. So your Bulldog 5 are Lopez, Wright, Rodenberger, Zippel, and Castillo. Island surrenders it to Walsh. Oh, beautiful crossover to split a double team, and now finds the open man in the corner. Unable to hit, though. Lopez wants to run. Defiance has had their chances here in the second quarter. They just haven't been able to convert offensively. Lopez with a nice pump fake. Wright will back it out. They'll reset in between the circles. Castillo free throw line extended. Almost lost it. Wright pops out. He'll take a 3. Again, halfway down out. Rodenberger with the board. He'll lean in, nothing doing. Kicks it back out. Lopez for 3. Got it! 3rd time's a charm. That three courtesy of Premier Bank. And just like that, Defiance back to within 3, and there's a steal by Wright. Coast to coast, finishes the fun off with the right hand. And now the Defiance faithful that made the trip starting to get on their feet. Defiance to within 1, out in a 2-3 zone. Boy, Island with a long 3, barely caught iron. Ziffel with the board, and Defiance can take the lead with a basket this trip down the court. Rodenberger releases. Ziffel has that go off of his leg, but keeps control. Castillo, that's going to be no call. Airs it, nothing doing. Ziffel with the board. Does he want to go up with the left hand? Gets 2 off the square. Brez Zippel's first basket of the evening. And at the 1:50 mark, Elida calls a timeout as Defiance takes the lead. 1:50 left to go in the half. We will take a First Insurance Group timeout. We're back with more. You're watching DCTV Sports. (22-21). Defiance. Strong defense, strong rebounding, and the wind now in their sails as they take their first lead of the second quarter, 22-21. Buzzer sounds. We're under 2 minutes left to go in the first half. We welcome you back to the Union Bank Court at the Elida Fieldhouse. Brent Balbinot saying thanks for joining us on a Friday night. District final. Defiance coming in as the number 9 seed in this bracket. Elida the number 1 seed. And right now the hosts find their hands full. And is that a turnover? Nope, knocked out of bounds. But that is again a great job to double team and harass the ball handler in the corner. Wright and Ziffel making life difficult for Seth Sharp. Walsh will reverse it. Nothing doing in the post. She would expect Krim being doubled, even triple teamed. Edscorn will back it out. Defiance's defense, good rotation in this 2-3 zone. Island got a little shaky, and Jay Wright with the steal. Does he have another? He does! Give him 2 baskets, both off of breakaway layups off a steal. And Defiance with their largest lead of the night at 24-21. Defense into offense. Elida reverses it. Edscorn had himself a tremendous first quarter. He's only scored once here in the second. He's got 9. Under a minute left to go in the half. Krim, high blocks, 360 spin, and somehow with the left hand banks it in. Wow. He's got 4. And it looks like Defiance might take the air out of the basketball for the final 30 seconds of the half. And that's going to be a reach and foul from behind. Zori Island has just picked up his 3rd. And he can't believe it. Matt Moser making the call. Are they going to leave him in? I don't know how you can. And he will take a seat. And again, Mason Dayhill seeing more action than he's used to in the first half alone, as a conversation between Matt Moser and Brett Green. And I'm not sure. I guess they were identifying, confirming that it was on Zori Island. It is. It's his 3rd. Wright really being dogged by Walsh. Little back and forth, 18 seconds left to go. Would like him to get out of the corner. Ziffel gives it right back to him. 10 seconds, time to put your offense in motion. And right now, Walsh is just frustrated right. 4 seconds, Rodenberger on the drive. Castillo comes in crashing. Do we have a jump ball? What's the call? Jump ball, the arrow points to Elida with 0.3 of a second left. There's not enough time to shoot. The buzzer sounds. That would not have counted even if it had gone. And we have played through the first 16 minutes of basketball. Trailing by 9 at the end of 1. They lead by 1 at the half. Defiance 24, Elida 23. Both clubs heading to their respective locker rooms. We'll take a First Insurance Group timeout. Back with your Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching boys basketball district final action from Elida on DCTV Sports. Well, we welcome you back to the Union Bank Court Fieldhouse, the home of Elida boys and girls high school basketball. Tonight, it is hosting the boys Division II District Championship, and the visiting Defiance Bulldogs leading the host Bulldogs, the 9th seed leading the number 1 seed by a point, 24-23. Elida led 16-7 at the end of 1. Time now for a look at your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. And they roll out the red carpet here. They even bring us a box score. So I'll see if my handwritten stats are even remotely close to what they're putting up for official. And with the exception of 1 turnover, all right, absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look first for the visiting Bulldogs. In that first period, it was a cold shooting performance. They were just 2 of 14. Defense into offense in that second quarter, 7 of 16, including several breakaway layups after 3 different steals, 2 by Jay Wright to get the Bulldogs back into the ball game. Taking a look at total points right now, leading the charge, it is Garrett Rodenberger with 8. That includes 2 for 2 from the free throw line. 4 points for Brez Ziffel, a deuce apiece for Antonio Lopez. That is not accurate because he's got 2 threes. I'm going to double check here. And there we go. 7 points for Antonio Lopez. 4 for Jordan Wright, as we mentioned. Defense into offense. Khalil Ligon with a deuce, and Brogan Castillo 1 for 2 from the free throw line. In addition to 8 points, Rodenberger has 8 rebounds. Brez Ziffel has checked in with 4, a total of 19. And the Bulldogs doing a decent job of taking care of the basketball with just 6 miscues. On the flip side, for the 15-7 Bulldogs of Elida, leading the charge, 9 points for David Etzkorn. He had 7 of those in the first quarter. So the Bulldogs put the clamps on him in the second 8 minutes. He has 9 points to go along with 3 rebounds. Rounding out the scoring for Elida, 5 points for Amari Walsh, 3 points for Seth Sharp, 4 points for David Edscorn, and the surprise here, Zori Island, the standout point guard for Elida, averages 12 a ball game, has been held to just 2. He has more fouls than he does points. He got a little loose with the hands out near half court with about 20 seconds left to go, picked up a reach-in foul from behind, and he has 3 fouls. Likewise, so does Jackson Koval. Nope, check that. 3 fouls. And he's the only one with 3 fouls. Everybody else with 2. The numerals on this are very, very small. 2 fouls for Jackson Koval and 2 for Evan Jackson. Likewise, number of fouls, nobody with more than 2 for Defiance, Ligon, Castillo, and Zippel, each with a pair. 24-23, 4.5 minutes before we resume second half play. We'll take a quick timeout, continue your Mark Moats Ford Stats Summary. You're watching the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union Halftime Show on DCTV Sports. Back at the Union Bank Court, the Elida Fieldhouse. Brent Balbinot saying thank you for joining us as it is Boys Division II, Northwest District Championship Basketball. And the visiting Defiance Bulldogs leading the host Elida Bulldogs by a point, 24-23. They trailed by 9 at the end of the first quarter. But some tremendous defense by head coach Bryn Lehman and company, leading the charge to get back on top. Still anybody's ball game. We continue to run through our Mark Moats Ford Stats Summary and the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union Halftime Show. Shooting percentages on the game and a much hotter second quarter has helped raise Defiance's shooting percentage from a mere 14% at the end of 8 minutes to 30% at the half. 9 of 30, that includes 2 of 9 from beyond the arc and 4 of 6 from the free throw line. On the flip side, for Elida, 6 of 20 from the floor, and that is pretty much standard. 3 of 10 in both quarters, 30%, but just 2 of 7 from distance at 28%. However, they have made a living at the charity stripe. They would be down by considerably more, as Elida is 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Both teams out of their locker rooms getting set for a quick shoot around. Defiance has been out now for not quite a minute. Elida getting some last-second instructions from Coach Matthew Tabler. They're just now getting the balls off the racks. They'll still have a couple of minutes to shoot around. Winner advances next week. The opening round of the sectionals. Loser packs up their gear until next year. That's our Mark Moats Ford Stats Summary. We're going to take our final break of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union Halftime Show. When we come back, quarter number 3, Defiance 24, Elida 23. You're watching DCTV Sports. Final minute ticking away here of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union Halftime Show. We're getting set for second half action. Defiance 24, Elida 23. Ball's going back into the racks, and last-second instructions from both respective coaches. Matthew Tabler for Elida, Bryn Lehman for Defiance. We mentioned tonight the sectional championship. I might have accidentally at half said district. Nope, this is the sectional championship. District semifinals will take place next week. The winner of this contest will play either St. Mary's Memorial or Kenton. St. Mary's, the heavy favorite there, is they're the 4th seed, Kenton the 8th seed, and that will be at Liberty Benton. That would be a 6 o'clock tip. Defiance trying to extend their season another game. Elida is already out. They are ready to go. Defiance breaks their huddle. And it looks like it will be the same starting 5 that began the game. For Defiance, Lopez, Zipfel, Ligon, Rodenberger, and Castillo. For Elida, it looks like it will be the same 5 as well. Island with 3 fouls, Sharp, Walsh, Koval, and Excorn. Lopez, Rodenberger in the high blocks. Oh, nice high-low action, and Ligon misses. Castillo flies in. Are they going to count it? Yes, and it looks like he's fouled. Brogan Castillo hanging in midair. What a play. Checking to see who they're calling the foul on for Elida. As Castillo completes the 3-point play. What a way to start the second half for the Bulldogs. Back defensively, are they staying in that 2-3 zone? They're going to pack it down a little bit. Island with 3 fouls. He's going to remain aggressive on the drive and dish. Walsh for 3, buries it. Amari Walsh now with 8 points on the evening. The other end, Castillo. Cut off baseline by Sharp. Nice job by Lopez to come to that pass, or it would have been a turnover. Ligon, 360 spin, dishes. Here comes Castillo on the baseline. He's cut off by Sharp. Tries to muscle him up, but leaves it short. Island with that blazing speed. Walsh, a 3 from the near corner. Back-to-back triples, and just like that, Elida on top now by a pair. Rodenberger on the drive, no call, and he lays it up and in. I looked over, and exactly what I thought. Coach Tabler thought that should have been a foul. Edscorn with a heat check. He's got one from about 23 feet out. Holy cow. All of a sudden they can't miss, and there's a turnover. Walsh hustles back. Koval trying to get in on the action, and does! 4 baskets, all from beyond the arc to start the second half, and all of a sudden a 4-point deficit has turned into a 6-point advantage. Timeout, Coach Lehman. We'll take a First Insurance Group break with them. All of a sudden, Elida can't miss. They lead 35-29. You're watching DCTV Sports. Well, talk about a change in plans. The wind has definitely now entered the sails of Elida after Brogan Castillo with a tremendous 3-point play. Defiance once saw a 4-point lead quickly evaporate as the Elida Bulldogs are 4 for 4, all from beyond the arc. And they now lead at 35-29 as Khalil Ligon takes matters into his own hands, and a nice drive. Give him 2 off the square. And if you're Defiance, this 2-3 zone, you just cannot imagine Elida will remain this hot from beyond the arc. Edscorn, he's got 12. Walsh buried a couple early on, and there's a deflection and a steal by Wright. And turning it right back over. No, Castillo's up with it. Now Island sat down. This is basically a 5-on-4, and he finally got back up and hustled back to play defense. Lopez on the drive, stops and pops, halfway down, nothing doing. Castillo, though, with a board and brings it out. Lopez from distance, off the heel of the iron. And are we going to have a hook here? Rodenberger hits the deck, as does, is that Dayhill? Nope, it's Koval, and it's going to be a foul, I believe, on Koval. Jackson Koval with his third. Man, are they letting him play. Wright will inbound on the baseline. He's going to lob this one into Ligon. And Lopez will slow it down and set up the half-court offense. Now he surrenders it to Wright. Castillo stripped from behind, quickly on it. Boy, he's tripped up. They've allowed a lot more uncalled. Lopez on the drive, 360 spin, up and under move. Boy, he's taking a lot of contact. Wright from distance, got it! Jay Wright now with 7. Pulls Defiance back to within 1. And now Elida will slow it down. Furious pace, and we're not even halfway through the third quarter. I think both teams probably could use an unofficial breather here as Elida now officially puts their offense in the half court back into motion. Etzkorn for 3. Couldn't find the range that time, and Ligon, I think, maybe sold that to the baseline umpire, Brett Green. Koval out, Krim in. Hard to believe, but Elida just got bigger. Right, smoothly across the timeline. Defiance trying to retake the lead this trip down the court. Rodenberger pops, but he wants to quickly get it to a guard. Rodenberger had 8 points and 8 boards at the half. Bounce pass, Ligon moved before he secured the basketball. It would have been there, and he knows it. That's an unforced turnover. Defiance content to get back and play that 2-3 zone. Just under halfway through the third quarter. Krim posting up big. He's going to draw a ton of dark jerseys when he gets into the high blocks. Etzkorn doesn't want to pull the trigger that deep. They reverse it to him again. Sharp on the drive. Great help defense in this 2-3 zone right now by Defiance. Bullet pass, Sharp. They lose him in the high blocks, but he rushed the shot just a bit. Rodenberger with a strong board. And for the second straight trip down the court, Defiance looking to retake the lead. Oh, and Wright loose with the ball, turns it over. Leaning in, that's going to be a foul on Wright. He's going to send Walsh to the line. Walsh, a 61% free throw shooter, will head to the charity stripe for the first time tonight. Couple of dribbles, spins the ball in his hands. Goes begging off the left side. Well, it's like a line change in hockey. 3 new dark jerseys all checking in for Defiance. Lopez, Wright, Zipfel, Kellemeyer, and Castillo, your Bulldog 5. Walsh will try and hit 1 of 2. And he does. Lopez surveying the defense. They run him through as a cutter, nothing doing. Zipfel comes up, picks and rolls, couldn't find him. Lopez thought about attacking. Ball sticking just a little bit right now, and they'll back it out and reset, calling a new offense. Kellemeyer reverses it. Right from distance. Barely caught iron. Walsh wants to hustle. Etzkorn wide open for three, and they're going to call a foul on Lopez. Oh, my goodness. Antonio Lopez came flying by. That's going to be 3 free throw attempts for David Etzkorn. Tone with his second. Etzkorn 4 for 4 from the charity stripe tonight. Again, a 70% free throw shooter on the season. He's having himself an evening. He averages 11.3. He's already above that. That's point number 13. Etzkorn going to be playing football at the University of Findlay next year. Accepted a scholarship earlier this season. Second is on the way. Well, he's playing good basketball right now. Substitution, Hutchinson will check in. Lopez out. Kellemeyer will also take a seat on the bench. Again, your Bulldog 5, Hutch, Wright, Castillo, Ligon, and Zipfel. Etzkorn trying to make it 3 for 3 from the free throw line. And he does. Boy, that is huge. At the 2:29 mark, Etzkorn drains all 3 free throws to make it a 5-point lead. Ligon, Castillo off the blocks. Can he back Grimm down? That's a lot of beef. Hutchison. Castillo, oh, look out, no call. Blocked from behind by Krim. It will remain Defiance basketball. That is a gutsy play by Zori Island with 3 fouls. If he picks up a blocking foul there, he's most likely sitting for extended minutes. Wright will be the trigger man on the baseline. Ligon trying to back Kovault down. Can't muscle up a double team, and he's stripped. And taken right back by Wright. Both teams with 3 turnovers here in the third quarter. Wright thought about it. Instead, he'll release the basketball. Castillo posting up against Krim. Rodenberger the cutter through, but they can't find him. They'll reset. Castillo coming up to the high blocks. Coming to set a screen, and boy, Ligon with the man right in your jersey. I'm not sure if that ball maybe rolled down his forearm, but things got congested over there, and Defiance is lucky they didn't turn it over. Wright inbounds all the way in the backcourt. Hutchison. Just under 90 seconds left to go. Defiance being very patient this trip down the court. Coach Lehman shouting out the instructions, raising 4 fingers over his hand. Boy, Wright and Walsh really getting physical at the top of the key. Wright, nice bounce pass down low. Castillo muscles one up. Castillo with 5 points here in the third quarter. Defiance to within 3. Kovault almost walked. Far corner. Mayhill. Everybody getting in on the act. Mason Dayhill with a 3. And the lead is now 6. Wright being hand-checked by Walsh. The count is on. Boy, that was a dangerous pass. Here comes Ligon. Jump stop and throws it away. Can Castillo get there? He cannot. That'll be the 4th turnover of the third quarter for Defiance. Hutchison out. Lopez back in. Krim will catch a breather. Elida goes much smaller. Well, Coach Matt Tabler told me before the game, Elida wants this contest in the high 50s or 60s. That is not Defiance's style. They prefer it in the 40s. 15 seconds left to go, and clearly Elida going to work for the final shot of the quarter. 9 seconds, 8, they've yet to put their offense in motion. 6, still nothing doing. Etzkorn from the elbow leaves it short. Castillo, 3/4 court shot, got it! A three at the buzzer. Now the officials will get together to confirm whether or not it will count. Defiance fans going crazy. We'll wait and see if this will count. Brogan Castillo with an incredible shot. Yes! Count it! Back and forth we go. 42-39. 8 minutes put up on the clock. Don't you go anywhere. We're back after this on DCTV Sports. How much does this game mean, especially to the seniors? Brogan Castillo showed what it means right there. A three-quarters court shot. Line drive, it barely cleared the iron. I don't know if we can get a close-up of the net. The net has come up on itself. That's how much English was on that shot. Khalil Ligon goes and pulls it down, and this place just erupted. Defiance has pulled back to within three, 42-39. Welcome back to the Union Bank court. Final 8 minutes. What do you think they've got in store for us? We'll get you a Mark Moats Ford stat summary at the next stoppage of play. Both these teams like a pair of heavyweight fighters just standing in the middle of the ring and trading punches. Walsh, Island with those 3 fouls. He's been a lot less aggressive here in the second half. Defiance continues to stay in that 2-3 zone. Good rotation. Walsh has picked up his dribble. Nice pump fake on the drive. Castillo, I'm not sure if that was a pass or a block. Falling down, what a play! Seth Sharp threw up a prayer, and it was just answered. Foul will go against Lopez. That'll be his third. Sharp at the line for an and one. An excellent free throw shooter at 74%, and he completes the three-point play. 45-39, the lead is back up to 6. Amari Walsh with a dozen. Leads all players. Brogan Castillo with 9 for Defiance. Garrett Rodenberger with 8. Right. Backing it out. Ligon posting up. I don't know how that ball got through there. Ligon kicks it up top. Lopez for 3. Off the front of the iron. Just a bit short. Walsh will slow it down. And I think Elida wants to work a little clock right now. Up by 6. Island picked up his dribble. They'll reverse it. Skip pass. Walsh with the pump fake. Stops and pops from 17. Misses everything. This is out of bounds. It will remain Elida basketball. The officials are going to talk it over, and I think a change. Yes, it is. A change in the call is coming. And that was a heads-up move by Matt Moser, who had a better look on the near side to come over and get some input. Right. Getting the instructions from Coach Lehman as he crosses half court. Lopez stops 1 foot inside the arc. Castillo trying to post up in the high blocks. Ligon for 3. Off the mark. One and done. Kovalt with a one-handed board. Etzkorn. Going to drive, dishes. Kovalt for 3. They cannot miss. He's 2 for 2 from distance, and all of a sudden, it's a 9-point Elida lead. You almost get the feeling this is a must-score possession for Defiance, and Bryn Lehman wants to call a timeout. We will keep it here on the 30-second timeout. A quick look at your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. Again, as I mentioned earlier, a dozen points for Amari Walsh. He had 5 at the half. He's drained 2 3-pointers. Again, 12 points. Nobody else even close for Elida right now. Although with 9 points at the half, I'll extend that out. 15 points for David Etzkorn. For Defiance, 9 points for Brogan Castillo, 8 for Garrett Rodenberger, although he only had 2 in the third quarter. Antonio Lopez with 7. And off the bench, Jay Wright with 7. 5:45 left to go in the contest. It is a 6-0 run to open up the fourth quarter for Elida. And a 3-point lead has been extended to 9. And you just get the feeling that this is almost a must-score possession for Defiance. Ligon had the ball in and out of his hands. Castillo on the drive, and a blocking foul. Boy, Matt Moser had his arms out wide, and I wasn't sure. I'm not sure he was sure until he made a split-second call. It is a blocking foul. Sharp picks up his third. Wright will inbound. They got a hustle. He's flirting with 5. He'll lob it out to half court. Lopez immediately goes to work. Baseline cut. Beautiful move by Ligon. Great find by Lopez. And that was a must-score possession for Defiance. We'll see how aggressive Island remains here with those 3 fouls. He only has 2 points to his credit here in the second half. Drive and dish. Walsh stops and pops from 15. Looked good, but it was off the far side of the iron. Castillo outlets to Wright. Defiance again with another opportunity. Drive and dish. Ligon back to Wright for 3. Missed everything. Here comes Walsh. He's got Island with him. He'll go coast to coast and finish the fun. Give him 14 on the night. Lopez off a Rodenberger screen. He'll stop and pop from 15. Nothing doing. Rodenberger skies. Lost it on the way down. Koval in the far corner. Castillo staying at arm's length on him. He'll try and take him baseline. Well, that's a tough move, and I don't know what else you could ask of Brogan Castillo there. That was about as good a defense as you could play. Sometimes you tip your cap to the opponent, and Jackson Koval made a tremendous basket. And now all of a sudden, the lead is 11. 4:06 left to go in the ball game. We are back at the Union Bank court at the Elida Fieldhouse. Right after this, you're watching DCTV Sports. Well, the scene at the Union Bank court at the Elida Fieldhouse. An incredible three-quarters court shot, good for 3 points by Brogan Castillo to end the third quarter, pulled Defiance to within 3. But all of a sudden, Elida has exploded here in the fourth quarter. We're not quite halfway through the fourth quarter, and they have scored 10 points to Defiance's 2. It's an 11-point advantage for the hosts. Still plenty of time, but you have no more margin for error if you're Coach Bryn Lehman and company. Every trip down the court, you've got to score, and at the other end, you've got to get a stop. Wright releases to Kellemeyer. He's a three-point specialist. It's off the front of the iron. Castillo diving, and he just plain got boxed out. Here you see a good look at number 22. One of a trio of seniors on this roster that does not want this to be their final game. But They have their work cut out for them here in the final 3:38. And Elida content to just kind of work the ball out in between the circles, and Defiance has come. Oh, swinging the elbows. Walsh gets away with one. Island on the drive, 360 spin. Ball was partially blocked by Wright. He pulled back, and Island still finishes. It's now a 12-2 run for Elida. Boy, getting physical. Walsh knocks it off of Lopez. And Bryn Lehman just turns and doesn't say a thing, puts his hands in his pockets. Well, he's stroking his chin there and telling his team, get up and get in their jerseys. There you see Coach on the right side of the screen, kneeling down. And they almost got the turnover there. Island working against Wright, behind the back. Well, I don't know who has offered so far, but if you're in the GLIAC or the GMAC, I'm offering Zori Island. And Walsh probably won't be far behind him in another couple seasons. What an incredible finger roll, switching from the left to the right hand in midair. And all of a sudden, what was a 3-point game to start this quarter has turned into a 15-point blowout. Lopez with the pump fake, and he had some help losing that basketball. Island putting his hands up as if to say, who me? That's his fourth, and he'll have to sit. But with 2:33 left to go in the game, I can't imagine it will be for long. Krim will check in. Pick your poison. Lightning quick point guard or absolute rock of a center. My goodness. They set up Lopez off the inbounds. The three is just a bit short. Rodenberger tries to tap it out. Escorn taps it to himself. Wright, the only Defiance player. It's still loose, and Escorn couldn't have an easier basket. My goodness. Castillo on the drive. He's going right at Krim. That's going to be a late rotation by Koval. He's picked up his fourth. Castillo with 9 points on the night. He's 2 for 3 from the line. He'll get a pair. Brogan, a 61% free throw shooter, rattles home his first. It's just the 3rd point of this quarter for Defiance. Krim out. Island right back in for the final 2:12. Castillo releases. He's long on this one. Behind the back, Walsh will dribble it back out. The only question now is Defiance, well, do they want a foul? Down low, and Sharp left it short. They don't need to. 360 spin move by Lopez. They got to work something now with less than 2 minutes and down by 16. Wright crosses over. Boy, that's close to a foul. Bryn Lehman thought it should have been the 5th. Instead, it's a jump ball. Possession stays with Defiance. Right. Swings it to Lopez. They got to get a shot, something off. Lopez realizes it, muscles up in the middle of the paint. Around the world, it kicks out. And Krim just out-muscles Rodenberger for the board. Well, the only question now is, does Defiance want a foul to extend the game? Down by 16, and Castillo will come up and foul Walsh. That's Brogan's 3rd. Lopez coming out, and the young man, the emotion on his face, the realization kicking in that he'll probably watch for the final 20 for his last moments in a Defiance basketball uniform. Castillo has just picked up his 4th. Well, Lopez now checks back in. I think this is a class move by Coach Lehman. Put your seniors on the floor to end it up. Whistle sounds, and what's the call here? The action happened away from the ball. Castillo checking out. Oh, he's got some blood. So they're going to allow him the opportunity to clean it up. Brez Zipfel has checked in. Hopefully they can get Castillo back on the floor here in the next minute and 16 seconds. At least let him fit. Wow, look at Rodenberger. He crossed the sideline there. He actually put a player out of bounds. Walsh ended up in the scorer's table. I'm guessing that's going to be a foul, or are they just going to go ahead and give him a warning? He looked like an armed escort when Walsh tried to cut toward the basketball. And still waiting to see what the call officially is going to be here. They're going to talk to Coach Lehman. Oh, they're going to call an intentional. Did I see arms crossed? It looks like they're going to call an intentional on Garrett Rodenberger. Well, that is a tough road to hoe for the senior. So everybody off the line. Jackson Koval to the free throw line for a pair. Koval with 8. And it stays at 8. Castillo will check back in as they've got the blood cleaned up. 1 of 2 for Koval. Now they should go back to the backcourt for the inbounds. This possession will stay with Elida. 59-42. Hard to believe this was a 3-point ball game to open up the fourth quarter. And I don't believe that Defiance is going to foul. Koval falling down. They will call a foul. Is it on Hutch or is it on Castillo? It's going to be on Rodenberger. That's his third. So Koval will go back to the stripe. Well, if you were not here and just opened up the box score tomorrow, you would think that this wasn't a close ball game. And I can tell you for 3 quarters, it was nip and tuck. But what Elida did in these final 8 minutes is nothing short of impressive. Not just offensively, but defensively, as they have held Defiance to just 3 points. 61-42. Lopez crosses over. And I don't know what Ligon was thinking there, but that ball gets thrown away. Caden Williams has checked into the ball game. And you can see Zori Island, the point guard, motioning for the Elida faithful to get on their feet. And I believe Coach Tabler is going to call a timeout as he wants to get some of his subs, and in particular one senior, Dean Baumgartner, into the game. Well, Defiance was more than game for 3 quarters tonight. And I don't want to say the wheels fell off in the final 8 minutes, because what Elida did had more than something to say about it. But they're just going to go ahead and keep the ball out near half court. Rodenberger's going to come out and force a 5. Island will dribble to the other end of the gym. And the final 15 seconds will tick off the clock. Elida, the number 1 seed, got a push, but just an incredibly strong fourth quarter will end up making it look like it was out of hand. 61-49. Elida now 16-7 on the season. Defiance will finish the season at 8-16. Game effort, but the final 8 minutes belonged to the hosts tonight. 61-42. We will take a quick First Insurance Group timeout. Back with your Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. The Union Bank Court at the Elida Fieldhouse, as this one is in the books. Sectional final, boys Division II, and what a ball game. But if you are Elida, you can say what a fourth quarter. It was a three-point contest going into the final 8 minutes, as Elida led 42-39, and Elida ends up winning after outscoring Defiance 13-3 in the final 8 minutes, en route to a 61-42 victory. Brent Balbinot welcoming you back to the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. There you see Elida cutting down the nets as they are district champs. They will move on to sectionals next week at Liberty Benton. Let's go ahead and run down your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. Let's go ahead and start with the host Elida Bulldogs, leading everybody, David Etzkorn, with 17 points. Etzkorn was a perfect 7 for 7 from the free throw line. He had 9 at the half. He finishes with 17 to go along with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Hot on his heels, Amari Walsh really picking up the slack when starting point guard Zori Island picked up 3 fouls. Walsh finishes with 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist. On the flip side, for Defiance, a pair in double figures. Senior Garrett Rodenberger was 1 board away from a double-double. Rodenberger finishes with 10 points and 9 rebounds. Likewise, Brogan Castillo, another senior, 10 points and 4 rebounds. And the trifecta, senior point guard Antonio Lopez with 7 points, 3 boards, and 3 assists. Jordan Wright with 7 points off the bench. One big factor, and I'm circling it here on the box score, turnovers. And too many for head coach Bryn Lehman's tastes. Just 6 at the half, 15 total on the game. 9 turnovers in the second half for Defiance. That went a long way. You figure that's not only a lost possession, but the opposition is scoring at the other end. Likewise, Elida much more sagacious with the basketball in the second 16 minutes. They had 8 turnovers at the half. They only committed 3 over quarters 3 and 4. They finish with 11. We're going to take another quick First Insurance Group timeout. When we come back, more of your Mark Moats Forward stats summary as the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show continues. You're watching DCTV Sports. Back at the Union Bank Court at the Elida Fieldhouse, the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show continues as we're going to wrap up our Mark Moats Ford stats summary. Again, outscored 13-3. I got to double check and make sure that's actually correct. I think it might have been more than that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16. Make that 17-3. I didn't think that looked correct. 17-3. Outscored in the final 8 minutes as Elida just put their foot on the accelerator and never let up en route to a 61-42 victory. Defiance on the game shot 16 of 50 for 32%. They were chilly from beyond the arc, just 4 of 18 for 22%, and only 6 of 9 in the entire contest. They only had 1 free throw attempt, got 1 time to the line in the second half. They were 6 of 9 for 67% from the stripe. On the flip side, Elida 18 of 38 from the floor for nearly 48%. Much better from beyond the arc, 8 of 14 for 57%. And 17 of 20 from the free throw line for 85%. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put those numbers together and realize all of a sudden this game got quickly away from Defiance Again, 61-42 as David Etzkorn, the senior who's headed to the University of Findlay on a football scholarship, the last man to cut down the net. The student body celebrating, as are most of those that came here tonight in Elida gold and orange. As the final score again, 61-42. That is going to do it. Oh, wait a minute, we've got the Stikeman Automotive Group player of the game. My apologies here. We're going to keep it with Defiance. I don't know, can we do a tri-headed senior Stikeman Automotive player of the game? Jeff's giving me the thumbs up. All I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is I wished I'd had the opportunity to cover this senior class for more than just one season. In talking with them, both on and off the microphone, they have represented this school, not just the basketball program, but Defiance and the community for that matter, with great distinction. And they are going to be successes no matter what they choose to do in life. But their season, their career in a Defiance basketball uniform comes to an end this evening. So we'll make it a trifecta tonight. Garrett Rodenberger, Antonio Lopez, and Brogan Castillo are Stikeman Automotive players of the game. That will do it for our broadcast here this evening. A big thank you going out to our crew for getting here early and setting up shop. It's not easy to do, especially on the road. Folks, they do a tremendous job here. A big thank you going out to our underwriters for helping make this broadcast a possibility. We cannot do it without their support. And as always, you the fan for tuning in. Again, this is Brent Balbinot thanking you for joining us tonight. Final score, Elida 61, Defiance 42. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.